Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 11th, 2014. The Yes Movement has blazed through Monday Night Raw, and it's on its way to WrestleMania 30. I'm your host, Hollywood J. Williams.
John Zimmerman.
Along with Mr. John Zimmerman.
Finally back. Oh, my goodness.
Finally back, and we want to apologize for all the shenanigans that happened last week. Actually, I shouldn't have to apologize. It's your son that needs to apologize to me.
Yeah, those kids are been taken out back to the woodshed and given a good talking to. But we did get notified from Metro North that they're going to sue us over the train wreck that happened last week. My goodness, those Utes.
Those Utes.
The Utes. Did you say Utes? Yeah, the PWA
boisterous Utes
came in, kicked us off our own show, and had a little fun at our expense, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, I can't even call into my own show.
I don't. If that's the future, I don't know. I think I'll take the past.
If that's the future isn't really that bright. I don't know. It's
But I hope you enjoyed watching the kids make a mockery of our wonderful show here. And actually, we got some good news about our show. You met a famous celebrity that actually let you know he watches our show.
I met a famous I met a few people over the weekend at the big event at the Marriott in Queens, New York.
Yeah.
This past Saturday, and former WWE ring announcer Howard Finkel, ironically enough, is a fan of the Squared Circle.
That's incredible. That is awesome.
So yeah, I was talking to him, and I introduced myself, told him about myself and the show, and he said he was familiar with the product, and he recounted one of the episodes of we had Mario Mancini on.
Yeah, obviously Mario and Howard Finkel are familiar with one another, having worked together at the same time in back in the WWF days. So I mean, it's really cool that we got Howard Finkel watching. Howard, if you're watching now, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the show. And I'll apologize to you directly for last week's debacle.
The debacle.
That is incredible. That's really great.
It is. That means a lot, knowing that he watches, and it makes me wonder who else watches.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I met Joey Styles, the former ECW announcer.
Yeah.
Very great guy. Buff Bagwell was there. Bunch of stars from TNA. Eric Young, Shark Boy. SoCal Val, I don't think she's there any longer, but
right. Former TNA star.
Former TNA star. Taylor Wilde.
Excellent.
Another former TNA star.
Yeah.
CM Punk's best friend, Colt Cabana.
Yes.
Never actually, I've heard the name, never actually saw what he looked like.
Right, and you got to meet actually two Styles. Right?
I got Joey Styles and formerly of TNA, now of Ring of Honor, AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. I think it's safe to say that nearly everybody is going to be formerly of TNA by this time next year.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
TNA is definitely winding down.
Yeah.
Their pay-per-view this past week did less than 900 persons in paid attendance.
They didn't even break 1,000 people with their
Couldn't even get
attendance.
1,000 people to show up at a pay-per-view event. It was one of their marquee pay-per-views.
And one of their pivotal moments in the history of their company.
Yeah.
It might very well even be the last final lockdown, as MVP is now in control of wrestling operations after Team MVP defeated Team Dixie Carter in the lethal lockdown main event. And the victory was the result of Dixie introducing Bully Ray as her hand-picked referee for the match. But Bully Ray ended up turning on Dixie's team and siding with Team MVP. Okay, let me get this straight. This man was in charge of the Aces and Eights. Practically every match that they had, he was sending people out to beat people up. He betrayed Hulk Hogan. He betrayed Hulk Hogan's daughter, who supposedly he was married to.
Right.
All the things he did to his own brethren in the Aces and Eights. The attempting to light Ken Anderson on fire, dousing him with flames,
Yeah.
and now he's a babyface.
Right. All the chaos and trouble that he caused Dixie Carter, and then Dixie Carter chooses him to be the referee.
And then he turns around and turns on her and goes with Team MVP.
You know,
And I think the fans probably cheered.
I can't make heads or tails of it. I know, it's scripted and it's storyline, but we want to have some sort of continuity and some sort of semblance of, just making sense.
Right. So we're going to forget all the things this man did last year, and we're supposed to embrace him again?
And we're supposed to believe that Dixie Carter's okay with it all of a sudden. Wow.
Well,
I
no,
don't
she's
think
not going to be okay because he's the one that betrayed her.
Right. But I mean, she picks him to be the referee. I mean, why?
Why in the first place?
Oh goodness.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know what? I think TNA is just circling the drain. Right now.
Jeff Hardy made an appearance in this Lethal Lockdown match as his new persona, Willow.
Yeah.
So he's wearing a mask now?
Oh, we don't know it's you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. As if it's somebody new and we don't know who they are.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's hiding out from the feds so he doesn't get arrested again. Put the mask on, they won't know
Willow.
who he is. I don't get
Let's
it.
see if he can gain as much success as Willow as he did when he was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't think we're supposed to understand, are we?
I don't get it.
Whatever is supposed to make sense doesn't, apparently.
Yeah.
Magnus retained the world title over Samoa Joe when Abyss popped up through the ring mat to attack Joe. I don't know where we've seen that before.
Goodness.
That's original. Abyss is now in a heel role as Magnus' enforcer. So Abyss heel, if you're keeping score at home. Things that don't make Abyss you could put in the heel category. Bully Ray you could put in the babyface category. Madison Rayne defeated Gail Kim, one of my favorites, of course.
Yes.
Probably the only reason I do tune into TNA anymore. Yeah. To retain the Knockouts title. Bobby Lashley is back, as if anybody really remembers him.
Yeah. Does anybody know who he is, or did we miss him? I'm not really sure.
I guess this is very good for U.S. fans who may have missed the great Japanese superstar, Great Muta. He returned to the United States in TNA, and he was in the corner of X Division champion Sonata. Now, apparently, the TNA guys went over to Japan and got a wrestling lesson, from what I understand.
A little late for that.
A little late for that.
You're not going to save your product now with 1 or 2 weeks in Japan learning to wrestle.
Yeah, they went over to Japan and they came back with back problems, neck problems, this problem, in addition to their writing problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And their money problems.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. They go over there and they lose I guess they lost the tag belts to some Japanese guys, and the Sonata guy is
Right.
Associated with the Wrestle One organization over there, and he's now the X Division champion.
So they don't even have their X Division belt on their own show anymore.
No, it's now in Japan.
Wow.
Things are just, I don't. Can switching to that insurance company, is going to Japan a good idea for TNA?
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Goodness gracious. A guy named Tiger Uno made his TNA debut in a victory over some other masked guy named Manic. And
All right.
that's enough of TNA.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. That's enough of TNA.
That's about all we have for that.
And that is all I have to say.
That is all I have to say. I have a question for anybody listening, anybody watching. I have a question for you that you might not know.
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you were with it because they're showing. Remember, the network carries all your old WWF, WWE pay-per-views,
Yes.
your ECW and your WCW pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going back to WCW before Hulk Hogan got there and
Right.
potentially ruined it, whatever.
Right.
This is going back to 1990, Starrcade 1990, Collision Course, if anybody remembers that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Sting defended the WCW World Title. This is to show you how long Sting's been around. Against the Black Scorpion, a mysterious man from his past who had been torturing him late and early fall of that year. And he was torturing him, and he was wasn't willing to give up who he really was. He claimed to be a former tag team partner of Sting's at one point.
Okay.
Says he knew him from California. If anybody remembers the identity of the Black Scorpion, that's the question I'm going to pose.
Question of the day.
The
Call
question
in.
of the day. Call in.
Ask us on our Facebook group page.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know if you know the answer. No spoilers, please. You brought up the fact that it was a WCW pay-per-view. Just today released is the best of the WCW pay-per-views, Volume 1, so I can assume there's going to be a second volume. It's a 3 DVD set put out by WWE Entertainment, and it's got just what it says, the best of a lot of their pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. So you've got an early Steve Austin wrestling as Stunning Steve Austin.
Of course.
Of course, you've got Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, Goldberg, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the people that obviously had migrated from the WWE. But being that WWE now owns all of that library, you're going to see some more of that stuff coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Not just on DVD, but as you mentioned, on the network.
At one point, WCW had a great product.
Yeah, without a doubt. And going back to the Monday Night Wars, they were killing the WWE for almost a year straight during the Monday Night War period when Ted Turner got in the wrestling business.
Ted Turner got in the wrestling business, and the big thing that put them over the top in that wrestling war was when Hulk Hogan turned heel.
Oh yeah. And it was unique because it hadn't happened before, and nobody ever saw it coming. And I would like to see, and unfortunately TNA is not the answer, I would like to see a rival wrestling company, product come out there and give the WWE a run for their money, because right now, primarily, WWE is the only game in town. And they're going to do what they want to do and run unchecked and unchallenged for quite a long time. And I don't see anybody stepping up. TNA's not the answer. ROH really doesn't have the funds to give them.
I think ROH would be the answer if they had the funds.
Yeah, if they had some sort of backing. If a Ted Turner is out there to give them some backing and some airtime. And that was really the marriage that will never be again, is that Ted Turner not only had the money to put into the product, he had the TV stations to put the product on.
Right, so he didn't have to go out and spend money like Vince McMahon does and cut deals.
And shopping around, and he could put it on any one of his multiple stations at any time. And that really was the magic of Ted Turner. Was that he had all of that media at his disposal. And Vince right now is still shopping around his television product, and hopefully, he'll come to some sort of arrangement and a deal that will keep Raw and SmackDown and Main Event and also Total Divas, on free TV on the air rather than having to migrate his entire product to the network.
Yeah, we don't really want to see that because some people haven't not ordered a network as of yet, and some people are planning not to order the network.
Yeah, and obviously the network's going to get not going to get the advertising rates that a USA network is going to get, or your basic cable networks. So you definitely need a product out there in the regular cable market in order to keep
exactly
the dollars rolling in and to keep that stock rolling in and at hovering around $30 now, and it hit almost 31, which was the highest it's ever been.
Ever.
And, yes.
It's just going up and up and up.
Yeah, and a lot of it is based on the speculation of what kind of deal he's going to get for the television rights. So we're all sitting waiting for that answer, and WWE has speculated that they'll have an answer by May. So I think they're going to wait until after the trial run of the network goes over, and they're going to wait till after the buy rates and see how WrestleMania makes out, and then they're going to make a deal for the television rights. So from now until May, I'm going to guess that the stock is going to keep hovering around that $30 mark, maybe a little higher, but just in that general vicinity. But speaking about McMahon and money, he just made the Forbes billionaire list for the first time. It's official. Mr. McMahon is a billionaire with a B.
A billionaire. He's not a millionaire anymore. He's a billionaire. He's graduated.
He's the billion-dollar man.
The billion-dollar man. Move over, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. The heck with Shane O'Mac. Here Comes the Money is Vince's new theme song.
Right.
Dollar, dollar.
Dollar, 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 dollar.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So
I don't mean dollar store either.
And ironically enough, he's number 12 on the billionaire list in Connecticut.
Vince McMahon.
Yes. So there's 11 people in Connecticut ahead
of Vince McMahon.
Of Vince McMahon on the billionaires list, and I think we should make it our goal in life to meet these 11 people and befriend them. And instead of having the Ultimate Warrior action figure on our show, we can have the actual Ultimate Warrior on the show.
Literally have the Ultimate Warrior, James Hellwig. Now, there's some news about him this week.
Yes.
We know who's the person that is going to induct the Ultimate Warrior into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it comes as a shock to me because I don't understand why Linda McMahon is going to be the one to induct our former Republican Senate candidate here in Connecticut.
And my friend.
And somebody you've met, I've never met actually, but is going to induct the Ultimate Warrior.
You know what? We were discussing this before the show, and my speculation is they could not find another wrestler that respected him enough to take that honor of inducting him in. Again, it goes back to that DVD, The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, where they all line up to bash him. So, I've not come here to praise the Ultimate Warrior. I've come to bury him. Well, after all these years, I think still can't find anybody to say anything nice.
The Ultimate Warrior with his podcast and all that was pretty much doing the same thing to everybody else.
Yeah, he was dogging everybody else.
He was dogging everybody else, and now here he is accepting a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah.
So whether he still feels the same way about everybody or not, or times have changed, he's accepting the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
so
I mean, that's a smart move on his part, but, we'll see where it goes from there. I don't see him being around after WrestleMania or doing anything unless it's like a WWE sanctioned appearance, autograph signing or something like that.
Right.
But also, some Hall of Fame news, Diamond Dallas Page is inducting Jake the Snake Roberts, and we've yet to make confirmation of who is going to induct Paul Bearer.
I would have to assume either Kane or The Undertaker or a combination of the two.
I would like to see The Undertaker do it, and it would be a real stretch because he would have to break character. You know, he's not going to come out and cut a promo as the Undertaker and induct him, you know, his
No.
friend into the Hall of Fame.
He would have to break rank. He would have to.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to be Mark Calloway and break character. And being that close to what may be his final WrestleMania, I mean, you really wanted the guy to, you know, come out of character the night before WrestleMania and then have to go in and go back and be
Yeah.
the dead man.
It's not like, and nobody knows who he really is, though, on the same hand.
But I really, I mean, other than like that period when he was like the biker Undertaker, he really hasn't broke character. You know, he's been that guy
Right.
for
That biker was a bit of a change.
27 years, whatever it's been. Yeah, the biker persona was a bit of a change, but even still, he was still the Undertaker. You know, he once he debuted as the Undertaker, he never really changed his character, and you know, he wasn't like a joking, you know, laughing kind of guy, or you know, never strayed away too far from that deadpan.
Always serious, ominous look on his face.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't see him breaking character. So I think you're right. Maybe Kane would be the guy to do it. But it would be interesting.
Kane, Mick Foley, Paul Bearer, managed people in Texas in World Class Championship
Oh, without a doubt.
Wrestling as
Yeah, I
Percy
mean, Bill
Pringle.
Woody has got a resume longer than your arm. But yeah, and obviously he's going in as Paul Bearer.
Right.
You know, and the WWE history, like you mentioned, Mankind and Kane. But I mean, when you think of Paul Bearer, you automatically think of Undertaker. And it's just salt and pepper. You know,
Exactly.
peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly. The guy that it was the perfect person to manage the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, that's lightning in a bottle. You're never going to find, you know, the two people that go together as well.
Exactly.
And you know, and had that kind of gimmick and chemistry. And you know, it's never going to happen again. That's, you know, that's Savage and Steamboat. Never going to happen again.
Exactly.
I mean, as great as some of the wrestling talent is out there, you're never going to touch.
Savage and Elizabeth.
Yeah. Well, they were married in real life.
They were married in real life, too. Paul Bearer and The Undertaker. Yeah, it was a combination.
Yeah.
Also, we have Lita going into the Hall of Fame this year as well. Honestly, I don't know who would induct her.
I thought maybe it was Trish.
I could see Trish.
Did they announce it as being Trish Stratus? If they haven't announced it yet, which I can't recall, so
Because I can't see either one of the Hardys
I
coming
think
in.
I got too many bumps on the head from the Altomaris last night. But I would guess it's going to be Trish Stratus, being that she's already in the Hall of Fame, and they're constantly working together. You know,
And they're really close friends.
Yeah, you know, in reality, they're good friends and have remained friends for, you know, so many years. So, if I had to lay money on it, I'd say Trish Stratus. I can't picture, or you know, they're not going to bring Jeff Hardy in to do it.
They're not going to bring Matt. I don't think they'll bring Matt Hardy in to do it.
No. Maybe they'll bring this Willow guy in. I don't know.
It is Willow.
But yeah, the Hall
was-
of Fame also on the network. They're going to stream the Hall of Fame ceremony live for the
in
very
its
first time.
entirety. In its
Yes.
entirety this time. You don't have to tune into the USA Network before Raw goes on.
Right, or wait for the WrestleMania DVD and have the edited version now.
You get to see the full thing right there.
Yeah, warts and all. So I would love to have had this last year for when Backlund went in, because his, you know, from all reports, his speech was incredibly insane. You know, talking about outhouses and and having to walk to the outhouse during your Hall of Fame ceremony. It's like, wow, that's what you're thinking of, is going to the outhouse. I don't know.
Yeah, I recall. I'm not sure Backlund made it on the air last year. I think Bruno Sammartino did.
Backlund made it out very shortly, and then Vince had to come out and scoot him off the stage.
Right.
So, because I guess he had rambled on for quite some time.
Wow. Getting a little senile in his ears, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long time since he's been on camera, so you know, maybe he has a lot to get in there. You know, for the last 10 years or so.
But yeah, so enjoy the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It will be April 5th, the Saturday night before WrestleMania
Yes.
on
Yes.
the WWE Network.
You know, this past Saturday, I ran into Mr. Hulk Hogan. and Mr. Jimmy Hart at the Roosevelt Mall. And
Jimmy Hart was also at that
Yes.
big event.
yeah, I noticed that. You saw Jimmy Hart over there, and I guess he skedaddled his butt over to the Roosevelt Mall to meet his good friend Hulk Hogan, who I literally ran into. I was there on other business, and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I assume you're here to see Hogan." I was like, "Excuse me?"
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan is here today. I was like, Hulk Hogan! Wow. So, and it was just serendipity. You know, one of those things. I was in the right place at the right time, and there he was.
There he was.
And
You never know when you're going to see him again. It's
Yeah,
just a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
And not too long after that, I got my butt over to Madison Square Garden. You can see the pictures. Went to the house show, and it was great. We had a really good time. They put on a really good performance. You know, there was no production value. There wasn't like the pyro and the whole Raw setup. But you know, for being a scaled down version of the show, we had a really good time. The Yes movement was definitely in effect, and
The Yes movement, the most infectious thing I've seen, the most over thing I've seen at a wrestling event anywhere.
yeah, how to go off on a tangent, but how long do you think they're going to run this Yes movement? Because speculation says all the way to SummerSlam.
It's going to keep going for a
I
while.
don't think it's going to end at WrestleMania. I think they're going to keep dangling that carrot until it just wears out.
So yeah, I think you're always going to see. I think you might as well get used to the Yes chant because I don't think it's really going away.
Right.
I
Well, I
think-
mean, as
yeah.
far as giving the fans what they want, do you think he's going to get the title, or do you think they're just going to keep making him chase it? Because
I think it's time to put up or shut up. I think so many people have complained about it that's why it's if anybody saw the 50 or 60 or I don't know how many people were in that ring wearing Yes t-shirts
it was
last
crazy.
night.
Yeah, last night.
I've never
Raw.
seen anything like that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy, and you could barely even see the ring ropes. There were
Yeah.
so many people
Yeah.
in there, and
Yeah.
Triple H.
I was half expecting the ring to collapse, as
Yeah.
we've seen in years past, when they've had a large group of people in the ring and
And that's
just
it.
flattens out.
Just
yeah.
flattens out the ring. Triple H gave in to Daniel Bryan's demands of a match at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
And in addition to that match at WrestleMania 30, if he's to defeat Triple H, he will go on to the main event, and the main event will change to, instead of Randy Orton versus Batista, Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World title.
I'll go out on a limb and say that he'll beat Triple H in the one-on-one match, and he'll be on the verge of winning the title, and there will be some shenanigan where he won't get the title, and we'll just extend that storyline even further, because they're going to milk it and milk it and milk it. They're onto a really great thing, and the merch is going through the roof, for his shirts, and they're going to pull a Cena and have a new shirt every month for this Yes movement, and he's so over, and that
He's the most over
there's no
guy
place else to go, because
in years.
where do you now? He gets the title. Where do you go from there?
Well, where you go from there?
That
If he gets
momentum.
if he gets the title, I mean, the pop at WrestleMania 30 is going to be the biggest thing you've heard. There's going to be just think of all those people in that new that Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Yeah.
And all of them going like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's over, and but what do you do after he gets the title? Then what?
What do you do after? What does Triple H do after he gets the
Yeah.
title? Is the question.
I mean,
Which leads me to believe they're going to go back into their archives and look at a famous rivalry between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon, and basically tweak that storyline a little bit.
yeah.
And you're
Either
basically
that or-
going to see a
or Bring
remake.
out a guy, you're going to have somebody chase Daniel Bryan. If it's not going to be the Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
But we have Mr. Dacey on the line if you want to cut in.
I definitely do. Hello, Thomas. You're live. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad that you guys made it back to take back our show this evening.
Of course.
I think, after the takeover last week, I think they managed to tamper with my transportation as my van this evening is in the shop.
Oh,
If it's not one thing, it's the other thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so pretty good job keeping me away.
I don't know. You're using up all your time. You're supposed to use your time in the summer when it's nice and warm.
yeah, we're gonna have to dock your pay on this one, buddy.
But I do like the set decoration this evening.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we invited the Ultimate Warrior on for the evening.
Right.
I did hear you talking about the Occupy Raw last night. I thought that was pretty interesting last night.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen anything like that in all the years you've been watching wrestling?
Absolutely not.
No.
and you're not going to see that on TNA because they would have invited the entire audience into the ring and still not been able to fill up the ring.
But they would have brought the audience into the ring, and there would have been nobody sitting down. That's the whole thing.
Hey, could somebody call the janitor out here, please? Oh my
I
goodness.
did read up on their pay-per-view last night. I heard you guys talking about it earlier. I just want to make a comment here with the situation with the Abyss last night. Can you say corporate Abyss, just like corporate Kane?
Oh, it's silliness, man. It's just
And
silliness.
really?
It's corporate abyss. If you have corporate king, you gotta have corporate abyss. They have to copy the WWE. You know that.
Yep.
Or the other one, they have to copy one another. Somebody's copying somebody. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
Yeah. Anything you can do, I can do worse.
Right.
Can't come up with their
Anything you
own
can do, I
original
can do.
ideas.
Right? I can do lamer. Oh my goodness.
Really enjoying the network.
Yeah.
Going back, watching some of the old pay-per-views.
Yeah, it seems to me, I'll give your opinion, but it seems to me that they've finally worked out all the kinks. The on-demand is working pretty well for me. The streaming has always been good. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the quality is great. Like I said, I've been really enjoying the old pay-per-views. I watched a couple of the Bash at the Beach this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Been going back, watching some of the original ECW content.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed watching ECW back in the day.
I watched the very first ECW pay-per-view, almost to the end. Then it watched me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do give Paul Heyman credit for, is ECW.
Exactly. He revolutionized the way you look at wrestling. To an
Yeah,
extent.
I mean, he changed. He gave the fans a different product, and he had a loyal fan base that he made a part of the show. I think without that audience, ECW would not have survived. And I really think he pandered and played to his audience and really got them involved and behind his product.
Mm-hmm. He made them feel like they were part of the family every
Yeah.
time they went to that arena.
Oh yeah, and the Sandman entering right through the crowd. I don't know how many times we had seen that prior to that, and really Sandman was interacting with the crowd and dumping beer on them, and and that was before Austin started doing it.
Exactly.
So he did have that, and of course just a lot of the throwing the garbage pail into the ring with all the different weapons in it, and you saw that there before you saw it.
He introduced the wrestling world to something known as hardcore wrestling.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And Hollywood, I just want to go back to a couple of things that you mentioned earlier. I know you mentioned Howard Finkel was a fan of our show.
Yes.
And I don't know if you knew this, but Howard Finkel worked at a company that my brother-in-law used to work for right there in North Haven,
And what would that be?
the old Marlin Firearms.
Oh, wow.
Marlin Firearms Company. It's been out of business for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you can see it, this is right there. There's the Fink right there.
There he is. To Hollywood J.
Hold that up, Hollywood.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
It's pretty hard with the light and the glare, but yeah, you got that, and an autograph from Mr. Joey Styles.
Yes,
Picture.
and I met the former TNA champion over the weekend too, AJ Styles.
And speaking of AJ Styles, I understand AJ Styles is going to be at Crosby High School the end of this month.
Yeah, that's an event put on by Northeast Wrestling, NEW. If you go on to northeastwrestling.com, you can check that out. And Tom, if you'd be so kind to put that link onto our Facebook group so people can check out the whole card and the dates and the times and all that hullabaloo, that would be really appreciated.
I will do that, and I hope to be in attendance that night if we can get our transportation worked out, Hollywood.
Hopefully, yeah.
And of course, PWA's got an event coming up on the 22nd, and you can find that information on the Squared Circle page. Stevie Richards will be there in attendance, Wrecking Ball Legursky, of course. Joseph von Schmidt is returning from Mexico, I believe later this week or early next week, and he's having a great run over there.
He's been down there about 2 or 3 weeks now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's having a great run down there. We wish him all the success in the world, but we can't wait to have him back right here. Of course, you're going to see Buzz Bloodsaw and the Normals in action. A whole bunch of great stuff going on. PWA back at the Boys and Girls Club in Bristol, where they sold it out to
the greatest indie wrestling fans, PWA fans.
2 events in a row, and I'm telling you, tickets are going pretty quick. You got to get yours now in advance.
Hollywood, did we get ours yet?
Our tickets.
Yes.
Oh, you know we're all set, fellas. Come on.
Of course. We don't need to.
We will be in attendance, and of course, Dylan will be doing camera that night. Is that correct, Joe?
I believe so. He's got a standing order to work the shows, and he's done a great job so far.
Joseph says get out there with a camera and point it at the ring.
Oh yeah. So Mr. Zimmerman's doing a great job for us and for PWA. And Jacob, of course, if you notice my status, he's training twice a week down there at the PWA, and he's working his little hiney off, and he's doing a great job of it. And
just got to work on his hosting skills when he fills in for us. That's all.
But
Keyword, when he fills in, not take over.
Right. We're going to have to get Quint to help these kids work on their promo skills. We haven't reached that part in the program yet.
I guess not.
But keep up the great work, gentlemen, and hopefully we'll be back next week.
Yes, and I understand your editing is finally done. Your anniversary show is ready to rock?
Well, thanks to our great friend Nick.
Yep.
A total of 6.5 hours of editing over the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Everything is done.
Been burning the midnight oil, huh?
So hopefully we won't have any freak snowstorms on April Fool's Day.
Please.
But the show is scheduled for April Fool's, 6:30 p.m. till 8 p.m.
Yes. And what show's on after yours?
The Squared Circle.
Oh, that must be us.
Is that us?
Oh,
yes.
you didn't know?
Oh, you didn't. You better call 234-0025.
There you go. All right, Mr. Dacey, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Great work.
Yeah. So, at Madison Square Garden, the AJ Lee had a match. It was originally a dance-off with Cameron, and it turned into a title belt match. And I must say, and I apologize if I offend anybody, but AJ Lee right now is the best butt in the business. And with all the former stars returning to the WWE, the second best butt in the business, Mickie James, I would love to see the two of them together. You know, you got Mickie James, which is a classic, and then you've got AJ Lee, which would be the derriere apparent.
The derriere apparent.
I waited all week to say that. Come on, that's great.
That's great. That gets there. I'll go halves with you. I won't say. I'll say I've heard worse.
The derriere apparent. Come on, that's just genius.
But,
I waited all week to say that. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see Mickie James and AJ Lee. Wow.
Go at it, huh?
Yeah, I think I need to.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Get you some cold water.
Anyhow,
the Yes Movement, like we've been talking about the greatest. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen people that have been over. I wonder if this is starting to maybe even be a better idea than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I don't know about that. Stone Cold just had that charisma, and again, as I said before, it's lightning in a bottle. And Stone Cold, if you listen to the Steve Austin show on Podcast One Network, even he said it just snowballed. It just came out of who he was.
It just came out of
He amped
nowhere.
himself up. And,
I was really
it just
fascinated with
went on.
his. They showed the documentary concerning the life of Stone Cold Steve Austin, how he started in the wrestling business, and how the whole character, like you said, grew.
Yeah.
I was really, really impressed by that.
Yeah, and if you listen to him, he's pretty humble about it. He just did what he had to do, and he was kind of failing miserably as the ringmaster. He didn't go over that well as stunning Steve Austin, and that whole 316 just
Stunning Steve
Just came
Austin.
from-
Stunning Steve Austin went over better than the ringmaster.
yeah.
But the Stone Cold character,
Yeah.
I mean,
And the
which
thing-
is a good thing they didn't go with some of the other names they had for that.
Right.
I can't imagine Frosty McFreeze going over.
Yeah, I mean, some of the dumb gimmicks they had lined up for him. And you know what? The whole thing with the Steve Austin character was it wasn't scripted. It wasn't somebody else putting words in his mouth. It was Steve Austin, Steve Williams being himself, amping his, aggression up to 11 and just putting it out there. And if you listen to him talk and you listen to him reminisce about it, a lot of it was just off the top of his head, on the fly, and sometimes inspiration, just coming right out of you, from the inception and coming right out, rather than polishing it and working on it and rewriting it. Just instantaneous coming out of his mouth is more fun and more entertaining than somebody just polishing and writing and rewriting and whittling it down. And sometimes you start out with this this great idea, and too many cooks spoil the broth, and they chip away at it, trying to make it better, and they kind of whitewash it. So coming out of just pure inspiration and the guy's personality, you're not going to do that again.
That whole era of wrestling, you were allowed to be yourself.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
now-
like that anymore.
And, and as much as having a
Brian-
story arc and a script that's going to last through from WrestleMania to WrestleMania is great, I think there's a need for a mix of the two. We got a call coming in though.
We have another call here. You are live on the Squared Circle.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
We're great.
Good.
Good. Just a couple of quick things. I was reading something today. The Yes Movement. A lot of those people in there were actually backstage crew, WWE personnel, giving shirts and put out there. There's very few of them were actually fans.
It was still amazing to see, though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty impressive. And the other thing I just want to touch on, I'm going to be one of the few voices that, for the TNA, I actually really enjoyed that pay-per-view.
Yeah. Who are we talking to, by the way?
An actual pay-per-view with the Cell, or, their version, the cage, where every match was in the cage, as opposed to, say, Hell in the Cell, where you get one.
I'm
the
100%
final match
agreement.
is in the
Yes,
cage, you
I
know?
agree with you there.
That's one thing they have. They're very innovative with that.
Honestly, TNA has a good, potentially good product, and I think bringing back the six-sided ring would be an addition to make them different. And like you said,
absolutely.
every match in the cage is an innovative and different. And I think they need to focus on their differences from the other product than try to copy that product. Because when they were original and doing the X division and having having those high flyers that the WWE really doesn't focus on anymore, it gives you a reason to watch them other than a rehash of what's going on in the other product.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It pains me every time I watch it that they've got so much potential there, and they're just wasting it.
Yeah, exactly. Who are we talking to, by the way?
It's Dave in North Haven.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah,
But I just wanted to give you guys a quick call. Just not many people say anything positive about TNA, so I just thought I'd throw a little something out there.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
thank you very
definitely,
much.
yeah.
Call in anytime, drop in the studio if you're right down the street from us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Alrighty.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Oh, that's a first-time caller.
Positive feedback about TNA. Yeah,
You know,
that's why we report everything on the Squared
You know,
Circle.
honestly, I mean, we poo-poo on TNA quite a bit, but I've said it before. It has potential to be a great product, and when they really the turning point was when they brought Hogan in, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I crap on it a lot, but it's not that I really want to. It's depressing to see. I mean,
Yeah.
I would really, I would really love some multi-billionaire to come around and say, you know what?
I want to
let me buy this and let me work on this.
Yeah, I want to see a legitimate rival. You know, for just competition always ups everybody's game.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the dominant force in any faction in life, there's no reason to get better. There's
Right.
nobody forcing you. There's nobody you can't look over your shoulder and see, nothing but dead air. You know,
We keep thinking that TNA is going to fold in the next year, and it's not. It's not that I want to see that.
Oh, no.
I don't want anybody to. Please do not think that I'm hoping that happens.
No,
because
no.
we don't want to see people out of work.
Well, that and like I said, competition is
Right.
the driving force of any good business, any good products. You want to be better than the next guy, and unfortunately, TNA is so far behind in this race right now that it's going to take a miracle to really catch for them to catch fire again.
But we have the WWE in catching fire,
Yeah.
like the Yes Movement, like we covered before.
Yeah.
It'll be Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, and if Daniel Bryan can beat him, he goes on to the main event. What do you think about the Brock Lesnar and his chances with the streak?
Zero.
Zero. I'll go with that too.
Zero. If they want to kill their product and they want their fan base just to absolutely turn off.
That might be the only thing that TNA.
Yeah.
It might help TNA
Oh, my
if
goodness.
the streak comes to an end.
You will see viewership drop. I mean, you're not going to take the streak away from them.
You're talking about an impossibility in the business, in my estimations, that streak will be intact until the Undertaker decides to pack it in.
Especially if all accounts being honest, that this is his last year. He's not going to go out on a loss. He's
No.
not going to go out and not have the opportunity to come back and avenge himself at the next WrestleMania.
Exactly.
And I don't think fans want to wait a year for him to come back and avenge himself. So
It's going to be number 22-0.
Yeah, I mean, I've made some bad predictions before, and I've made some good predictions. But don't even, especially Brock Lesnar, please don't let it happen. That would just, I think it would kill the product. I really think you would turn off so much of your fan base, especially our demographic, the older fan base that have seen all the WrestleManias and watched a guy, achieve what he achieved. And Undertaker and Mark Calloway being the respected figure that he is, not just as a performer, but as a guy backstage where he is the judge at wrestling court. And if you listen to any of the guys talk about him, right, you're never going to find somebody that talks negatively about Mark Calloway. You're not going to find anybody that says anything bad about the way he conducts himself.
He never makes it about himself. It's always...
He's the shining example of who to be in the backstage area, how to conduct yourself, not only in the ring, but outside the ring, in the locker room, in business. He is
He's the phenom.
everything that's good about the wrestling business.
Exactly.
So you're not going to take that away from the guy on his last match of his career. That would just be horrible.
Where are they going with John Cena versus Bray Wyatt? We thought John Cena was going to be in a battle royal, but instead he goes ahead and calls out Bray Wyatt. I was really hoping to see the Wyatts against the Shield #3.
Yeah,
But
it's something for John Cena to do.
gives him something to do.
Yeah, and
It gets Bray Wyatt working.
yeah,
It gives him a big name to wrestle at WrestleMania.
What I'm looking for
Gives
most,
him a big test.
Yeah, what I'm looking for most out of this WrestleMania is a push for Roman Reigns. something should come out of it where Roman Reigns.
Do you think that Roman Reigns, if he enters this battle royal, has a possibility to win it?
It's a possibility, yeah. Yeah, I see him getting a huge push and him being the next superstar and possibly being the guy to chase Daniel Bryan.
It could be, because they're gonna need to put somebody against the new champion.
Yeah.
Young
and there's some
know.
history there with the Shield and Daniel Bryan.
I think Orton in his time around the belt and Cena in his time around the belt and Batista, I don't know why he came back.
Yeah.
I think their time, it's time for the next generation to come up, and that new leader in the locker room is Daniel Bryan.
Right, and you're
Without
going
a doubt.
to see Cesaro fight Swagger. That's going to break up right away. Cesaro's going to.
Which is I kind of like that tag team.
Yeah.
It's too bad, but
It's run its course. They're going to, so Cesaro is going to go.
they don't seem to keep tag teams around for very long.
No.
Not like years past where you saw the Road Warriors and the Steiner brothers together for years and years.
Yeah. Well, even the Hart Foundation and Tony Garea and Rick Martel. We could stand here, doing the tag team division. The Wild Samoans, the Moondogs. I don't think you ever saw them, separate. I mean, you saw them in singles matches once in a while.
Exactly.
But they're always a tag team.
Davey
But that
Boy
goes back
Smith and
to-
the Dynamite Kid.
Yeah. The British Bulldogs, obviously. But I mean, that goes back to the days when you had Lou Albano and his stable of tag team wrestlers, and you had Bobby Heenan and his stable of tag team wrestlers.
You had great tag teams back in the day.
Yeah.
WCW had a U.S. Tag Team Championship and a World Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the business where the guys don't want to be stuck, in a marriage to one another, and my success depends on somebody else's success. And if somebody else makes a bad life decision and gets arrested outside of the business,
It's going to affect me.
Right. So I really think it's more of a business thing, an outside the ring business thing, than it is an inside the ring entertainment thing. My opinion. But just from listening to some of the guys on a lot of these
very
talk
well be.
shows,
Right.
and I mentioned the Steve Austin show. I also highly recommend Talk is Jericho. He goes off the wrestling topic once in a while, which I enjoy, and it's funny. He had his father on talking about his career in the NHL. Ted Irvine
Right.
was with the Boston Bruins. He was with the LA Kings and also the New York Rangers. And he had a brilliant hockey career. And hearing a little bit behind the scenes of what goes on in the NHL, and of course, from his music side, he's had on Scott Ian of Anthrax, and Scott Ian is married to Connecticut resident Marvin Leah Day's daughter, Marvin Leah Day being Meatloaf. So hearing about Scott Ian going to pick up Meatloaf's daughter is great stuff too. So I mean, and Jericho's had on Chavo, which I highly recommend, and I've said it before. Chavo Guerrero, two-parter on Talk is Jericho. Listen to it just for the last days of Eddie Guerrero and the last days of Chris Benoit. Some really, really good stuff. So Talk
Really
is
moving
Jericho
stuff.
and Steve Austin Show, Podcast One Network. Check it out. And it's free. So I'm not pushing anybody's product.
No. How much time are we?
We got about 5 minutes left in the show.
We got about 5 minutes left in the show. I'll do my little segments and we can wrap up.
Go right ahead.
If anybody didn't know the answer to that question, the man behind the mask, the mystery man that came out of that big giant, it looked like a spaceship pod at Starrcade 1990 Collision Course. The identity of the Black Scorpion was originally supposed to be this man here,
Yep.
but backed out of a WCW contract at the 11th hour
Never happened before.
and decided to stay with World Wrestling Federation at the time.
Yep.
So, in a scramble, they didn't know what to do. So, they have a bunch of chaos in that steel cage, and all of a sudden, Arn Anderson comes in with a tire iron. Arn Anderson and Barry Windham hit the cage. They beat up Dick the Bruiser. They start beating on Sting. And Sting lunges to get the mask off the Black Scorpion. He pulls the mask off, and it's, woo!
Nature Boy himself.
The
Ric
Nature
Flair.
Boy himself, Ric Flair. That all happened December of 1990.
And that was before the internet really had all these spoilers and and all the dirt sheets had all the the writers giving them all the heads up. So it was a shock and it was a surprise.
Right.
You really didn't see that coming.
Nobody had heard rumors of who it was before.
Right. So that's cool.
Right.
Do you have a worst of the week this week?
I have a worst of the week. We're going to go with bronze going to Jeff Hardy, trying to make everybody think he's somebody else.
Right.
This Willow character.
Yep.
No offense, but runner-up, I was going to make them the worst, but I at least, in light of what happened last week, the Utes,
Yep.
overrunning us
Those darn Utes.
and hanging up on a legend like myself and another legend like the Thunderous One-Time DC, not to mention you.
Yeah. I'm not legendary quite yet.
I never hung up on my father. I don't know where these, need to work on them mic skills,
Yeah.
definitely, and them hosting skills, that's for sure.
Well,
but they are welcome back anytime,
Well,
of course.
I won't divulge my shoe size, but Jacob's got a size 10 mark on his buttocks. But
Hey now. But the worst of the week, and this is from last week's Raw in Chicago,
yeah,
when everybody thought that CM Punk was going to return,
yeah,
and the music played at the beginning. And I don't know, it's between Vince and CM Punk. It's their business to sort it out. Maybe we'll see him, maybe we won't. But to get those fans all riled up and thinking he was going to come out, and then Paul Heyman comes out, and Paul Heyman had to agree to it
oh, without a doubt.
in order to even do it. So Paul Heyman and whoever wrote that beginning of Raw last week, that's the worst of the week.
Wow.
To make people think something's going to happen.
I will say that PWA superstar Quint Johnson did say that he's of the mindset that it's all a work, and CM Punk is just off healing up. And he made a good argument and a good case for it. So I'm kind of on the fence about it now.
You're kind of leaning towards it being a work.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm leaning towards it's not a work, but I would not rule out the fact that he will come back
Yeah.
one day.
Well, with 1 minute left, you have any closing remarks?
Not much. Just keep enjoying the network. I hope everybody enjoyed that question, because I'm going to try to come up with a different question every week.
No, that'll be fun.
And
That's
we'll rotate it around between all the pay-per-views.
Oh, without a doubt.
WWF, WCW, ECW.
So get your pencils ready, get your minds at work.
Give you some incentive to all those network subscribers out there to watch some of these old things.
Yeah, well,
And just because you thought WCW wasn't cool, it's because Hogan came around. Watch it before that.
yeah, without a doubt. And the same thing with ECW. Watch all that old ECW stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely. That's
see
about
you
it. We'll
next
see.
week.
We'll see you next week. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night and good luck.
John Zimmerman, the award-winning Squared Circle. Follow the buzzards.
Follow the buzzards.